Good morning, Miramar, and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Tamara G. As always, you can check us out on all of our social media. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at City of Miramar. And with me, although he's not in the City of Miramar, he's pretty close, we have curator Phillip Thomas of the art exhibit Jamaica on My Mind. It's all part of the big Art Basel events that are happening this weekend. And this one is happening in our neighbor to the south in Opelika. So welcome to the show, Phillip.
Hi, thank you for having me.
No problem. Okay, so tell everybody when they say that you're the curator of this exhibit, what exactly does that mean?
Well, the curator's job really is to look at the overview of the exhibition. You're in charge of selecting the works, outlining the theory of why these works make sense together, and what the full context of having this exhibition is about. So the curator is sort of the person behind the organizational, theoretical ideas around the works.
Mhm. And so with this one, Jamaica on My Mind, obviously, there you could probably have a plethora of people,
Yeah.
getting artwork and wanting it to be exhibited, particularly during Art Basel weekend. But
Mhm.
how did you come about, and how many pieces are in this one particular collection?
Well, there's about 25 works, 18 artists. And how the work is structured is that we're looking at multiple generations of Jamaican art, starting from as early as Kofi Kaiga, people like David Boxer, who really organized and created the National Gallery of Jamaica. And then subsequent generations like Omar Ira, Kalfan Ira, people like, and then my generation comes after that. So I'm sort of a 80s baby. And then uh, after that, we have people like Sasha K. Nicole, Tuesday Stewart, younger people just graduated from the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts, and that's the one art school that's in Jamaica. So much of what you know about Jamaican art sort of comes out of that institution. Those two institutions, really, the National Gallery of Jamaica and the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts.
And I know, Philip, that art is so subjective.
Yeah,
But one person considers art, another person considers, man, that's some garbage up there on the wall.
yeah,
So, and with some of these paintings coming out of, as you mentioned, the two biggest schools in Jamaica that people
mhm.
know about for art, how hard was it for you as a curator to narrow it down to just these 25 pieces?
Yeah, it's very, very difficult. It's very, very difficult. Um, Sometimes you have to look at things from different eras of Jamaican art. And we have so many different political seasons, theoretical ideas, what the 90s was like in Jamaican art and politics, because so much of our aesthetic output is intertwined between ideas about art and philosophies around politics. And so
Oh.
where those two things intersect, this is where much of our output comes from. It's the same thing in music, for instance. When you look at our musical output, a lot of it is so heavily political, and it's no different in visual arts.
And speaking of that, so this event is happening on Friday, December 6th. It's going to be at the Pavilion at 650 Alibaba Avenue in Opelika. Will
Right.
there be a chance to meld together the art that's on walls with music, with other forms of art, maybe food? Because I know
Yeah.
everything can be an art form.
Yeah. Yeah. So the theme of the entire event, as you said, Jamaica on My Mind, really goes through several aspects of Jamaican culture, right? And so the what I'm curating is just merely one aspect, that's the visual arts culture. But we'll have a whole plethora of different notions of Jamaican culture that, the viewer can come in and experience and understand.
And I love the fact that is this a free exhibit? Like people can just come in?
Yes. Yes.
Wow, free is for me all day long. So, and this
Well,
is
what's
go
important
ahead.
about that is that it's part of a community development project, right? And so sometimes what you have is whenever you set up these exhibitions, presentations, and then you put this sort of cover charge, you're sort of beginning to restrict different people that don't necessarily have the access to be able to see something that's very much important and part of their community. And so having access is one of the key drivers behind the project.
Wow. If you're just tuning in, thank you so much. I'm Tamara G, and we are here with Phillip Thomas. He's the curator of the new exhibit, Jamaica on My Mind. It is going to be shown during Art Basel weekend at the Pavilion at 650 Alibaba Avenue in Opelika on this Friday, December 6th, open to the public starting at 6:30. But this fine art exhibition celebrating the Jamaican experience on the island and abroad at the Art of Transformation. And I know that the 10 North Group has been doing these types of exhibits for a long time. You guys are going to have some special guests coming in. Did I see that the Consul General is going to come in? Consular
Yeah.
General? Okay. Well, look, you all big timing it over there in Opelika.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, they've done an incredible job in mobilizing people who have the ability to speak on art and culture and politics from different facets of a singular theme. And so, I mean, it's just been an incredible experience to be a part of the project and to be able to bring my own notions on the subject.
Mhm. And then I see also, Philip, that you have one of my favorite people who's going to be hosting it for you. We've worked together a long time.
Mm.
Tonto Irie is going to be.
All right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I mean, it's going to be a really interesting time. We're going to cut loose, relax, have some fun, but also contemplate on what Jamaican culture really is.
Would this be a way for someone who maybe has never been to the island to see kind of firsthand? Because I'm sure there's going to be, some idyllic scenes from the beach or from, as you mentioned, there's political stuff that's going to be there, but also, what people think or expect that they think Jamaica is
Right,
all about.
right. Well, if your notion of Jamaican culture is something that's on a postcard, then you're going to be very disappointed in what you think Jamaican culture. It's way more complicated than that. There's so many multifaceted voices around the notion of Jamaican culture. You see, let me put it this way. Jamaican culture has such a massive imprint on the globe that so many people have their own ideas about what the culture is. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so you have to figure out how do we have a relationship with the notion of Jamaicanism and Jamaica itself, and where those two things collide can be interesting sometimes.
Right, right. Well, here in Miramar, a very multicultural city, but we do have a
Yeah,
large Jamaican population, and I am sure that they are going to come and support once they know that this
yeah,
is happening. Again, it is just south of us in our sister city, one of our sister cities of Opelika at 650 Alibaba Avenue this coming Friday, December 6th at 6:30. Special cocktail party. You're going to be there, Curator
yep,
Philip Thomas. You're going to have some of the featured artists there. And I think people are just going to be amazed at how everything comes together culture wise. We talked about, music. We talked about the actual visual arts. Food is a form of art. So you guys are going to have
mhm,
that as well. The drinks, like everything can be transformed or can be seen as a form of art.
yeah. We're going to have a real cultural experience. And I'm very happy that the audience will be able to experience this and share. I mean, I do know that many, many Jamaicans are coming, and it's part of their legacy and part of their cultural memory, you know. And then for non-Jamaicans, I get to bond with people from the island and share stories about, traveling there once and experiencing it for themselves. It's going to be an interesting interaction between those two audiences, and I'm really here for it.
Absolutely. So open to the public, anyone
Yeah,
can come, bring the family,
bring the
great,
family.
great date night, great time to bring the family so that they can, have a good time and do things. And this is, all family friendly, so that'll be a good thing. I
Yes.
wanted to ask this question as well. So I know it's going to be up during Art Basel. How long will the curating stay up? Because, what if people can't get there this weekend?
Right. So the exhibition runs from the 4th to the 8th,
Okay.
and there'll be several functions, talks, presentations, all there in the flyer. You can just check out 10north.com, and you'll be able to participate in all the discussions, hear from the artists, hear from myself, the curator, who's going to be doing a presentation on the exhibit as well.
Great.
So it's something there for everybody to really, engaging.
What is your specialty? What is it that you like doing related to the arts?
Um, from my own discipline as an artist, so I'm trained as an academic painter. I did study at the Edna Manley College in Kingston, and then I went off to do a master's in New York at the New York Academy of Art. And so that's where my training really lies. And that was many, many years ago. And so so my work has changed since, and it has become something not it's not safe to say more complicated, but it has taken on different ideas, different ways of making, different ways of seeing, but it does sit on a similar foundation from where I graduated from at the Edna College. So it has developed in a kind of very systematic way, I would say.
Okay. Have you found, because I find this when I meet artists, that you guys,
Mhm.
I'm so jealous. You're multi-talented in many different ways.
Mhm.
Seriously, you like painting or you like drawing, but then you also find out that you can sculpture or you can cook or
Yeah.
you can, do some total make jewelry, like whatever.
Yeah,
What else have you found, being an artist for so long that you also enjoy doing, although that's not the discipline that you went to school for, but you
yeah.
enjoy doing?
Well, so at one point in my life, I was trained as an engineer. And so I'm sort of, using different parts of my brain. And sometimes you find um, creative people can solve really complicated problems in a almost kind of an ingenious way, how the brain functions in that kind of way, as opposed to analytic people that sort of go through a system, you know what I mean?
Right. Or
And so it's
follow a
interesting.
formula of some type, right?
Right, follow a formula of some. And sometimes it's interesting to put those different ways of thinking together and see what comes out of it. And so, you know, for me personally, um, I started curating, which is a separate discipline from being an artist, when the pandemic happened. So of course, when COVID-19 happened and the world sort of shut down,
Uh-huh.
Jamaican artists needed an outlet. And so a group of friends of mine, five people, Greg Bailey, Kimani Beckford, Camille Cheddar, John Campbell, and myself. So we got together and we started to host these exhibitions where we would, even though there was no other shows happening at the time, we were sort of bonding together as artists, kind of like open studio work
Okay.
in a way. And we started to have these exhibitions. And so we've been doing it every year since the pandemic. And so I've, in a way, taken on this new idea of looking at art, not from creating it, but from organizing it, assembling it, um, thinking about it in a more broader sense from a curatorial standpoint. And that's been an interesting growing process for me personally.
Right. I was going to say, but that's another art form, that is another
Yeah.
talent. Uh, and I love the fact that you say you started out as an engineer, because obviously, if you were building a building or
Mhm.
putting something together that way, that people don't understand all of that works together. And
Yes, it does.
yeah,
Yes,
so
it does.
the buildings that
And
people see, the architecture, all of that kind of all works together. So I am so happy that this is happening, and it's happening this weekend. So if you
Mhm.
don't have plans for Friday night, please come out again, open to the public. It is happening on Friday, December the 6th, and it's going to be from 6:30 p.m. until
Whenever we feel like.
exactly. I was gonna say
Yeah.
I've been to my Jamaican brethren's parties. But yeah,
Yeah, we do go out for a while.
yeah,
So it should be okay.
6:30 is when it starts at the
Yeah.
pavilion at 650 Alibaba Avenue in Opelika. And I love again the fact that 10 North group is doing this, because Opelika it's a beautiful city, and particularly when
Mhm.
they have the Alibaba look and the
Right.
Aladdin look, and now they're actually bringing art into the city, so it just kind of all works together as well there.
Yes, it does.
All
Yes, it
right.
does.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Philip Thomas. He's the curator of Jamaica on My Mind. It's part of Art Transformation. Going to be held this weekend at the Pavilion at 650 Alibaba Avenue in Opelika, all part of the Art Basel weekend. So please make your way on over there. Again, it is a free exhibit. It is going to be up until the 8th. Okay. So if you don't make
Mhm.
it on Friday night, You have until the 8th to go and see it. Thank you so much, Philip, for joining us today on A Good Morning Miramar.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you for joining us as well. I'm your host, Tamara G. Until next time, see you.